In Season 5 for the British Grand Prix, and I am your lead commentator for this evening, Storm Kings 15. But I'm not alone, I am joined by TTGA Conte. How are you feeling for this one?
Yeah, I'm really excited for this one. We've seen a marvelous race last week with some nice battling, some clean racing. So yeah, looking forward to this one today.
Yeah, so for the tyre strategy, obviously we know that Silverstone can offer a wet race or wet qualifying. So if it is a dry race, what would you go for strategy wise?
Yeah, it's an easy one-stop around Britain. So yeah, it depends. If you're fast enough, you can try to qualify on the medium tires and end up in the top 10. But if you can't, just an easy soft to medium and just hope you won't get an early safety car.
Yeah, as we saw yesterday evening in the F3 tier, obviously it was won by TTG Lemon. Fantastic battle with him and CR7. Do you see many battles happening tonight, or do you think it will be kind of once the leader is out there in front, he'll be able to build that gap unless there is a safety car?
No, it's quite easy to stay in someone's DRS here, at least if you're not too fast, but a couple of these guys are pretty equally matched, so yeah, I'm expecting a lot of battling and a lot of clean battles just like last week, some good overtakes and yeah, maybe some surprises left and right.
Yeah, obviously this is my debut race, well, for commentary in F4, so obviously you know these drivers probably better than I do. Anyone that you might pick out for a pole position this evening?
Yeah, there are a couple of fast guys like IMD, Aju, Bunty, Graham always surprises. Jenna is fast on qualifying as well, so there are a couple of guys who can qualify and pole. So I think it depends on just track preference for these guys, and yeah, maybe just a stellar lap someone doesn't expect.
Yeah, so we'll ride on board. I believe Jane is the first one out, so we'll stick on board with them, and then when it gets to the start of their flying lap, if you would take us on a lap of the British track in Silverstone when we get there.
Yeah, of course I want to do that when we get there. But first off, they just want to warm their tires pretty evenly and not do any crazy thing like spinning. But yeah, it's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, so for overtaking spots, where would you say roughly around about the track would be the best overtaking opportunity?
Yeah, the best one I think is after Maggots and Baggots. If you can get the inside of Cops, I believe it is, with the banking in the corner, it's relatively easy to overtake there. Just have to get a good exit there, and it's easy peasy lemon squeezy.
So as Jane now will start the flying lap, I'll hand you over to Conte for a lap of the British Grand Prix.
Well, thank you. This is Jenna taking turn one. The looks of it, let's take it relatively easy here, trying to get the inside curve here, give as much space to turn two, get a good exit here, go out wide, and it's just DRS open here and flying away. Bank of the corner here, relatively easy to brake late, takes a nice inside curve here, goes a little bit wide. Two types of lines you can take here. The close one like younger bit, or a wider one and get more speed on the exit of the corner. Going into Cops corner where yeah, the crash was between Hamilton and Verstappen, where the war began this season. Maggots and Baggots. Nice early braking here, taking as much of the inside curve as possible and going as wide as possible here. Opening up DRS again for this straight. Of course, he has a purple little sector, but he's the first one out, so probably it's going to be broken here. Trying not to get too wide there. It's really easy to invalidate the lap going to the last chicane here. Left one, right one. Really tricky on traction on this one, especially on all the tires, and this is the first lap with that 1:27.7 from Yanna.
Thank you for that track flying lap guide from Conte. I've just looked at the stream comments, and we are expecting some rain I don't know when, but we are expecting some rain. So if that is in the race, do you go for a dry setup or do you go for the wet setup? Because it is a tricky one.
Yeah, it is. There are a couple of strays here, and it's a high-speed track. As Ray Meader came in with a 1:27.4 and Invictus with a 1:28.4. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think I would go for a dry setup and just take it easy in the corners, but have as much speed on the straight here.
Yeah, so obviously a few laps have been set in low 1:27s. Do you think anyone will get into the 1:26s, or do you think maybe a flat 1:27 would be round about that pole time?
Yeah, I'm expecting a couple of guys going into the 26 highs, maybe 26.9, maybe a 26.8. But I think guys like Aju, Secret Dundee came in on the mediums with a 1:28.1, which is a good time on the medium tires. So yeah, I think a couple of these guys will get into the 1:26s today.
Yeah, and also just looking at the stream chat, I have been informed we have a birthday boy this evening, which is TRT Bunty, who puts himself up to P7. It is his birthday, so from everyone at League Racing TV and TTML on the commentary side, we do wish him a very happy birthday, and hopefully he can have a good race this evening.
Yeah, happy birthday. And a birthday deserves a podium, in my opinion.
Wow, it could be a podium or a race win. He is in that Haas, obviously. He is in P9 with a 1:34.7, so he may have had an incident or been held up through the track. So it's kind of interesting. A few drivers are on the medium. I'm a D up there in P3 on the medium with a 1:27.4. Secret Dundee has retired. Is that on track? It is. I think that's through Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, probably on the exit of the corner, like we saw Perez doing in the sprint race.
Yeah. So obviously there is a Red Bull, I believe, that has automatically DNF'd. I don't know if any of the drivers have had qualifying bans from last week. Obviously you'll be able to give us that information, obviously, because you're normally a regular com for here. So, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what I think a few of them do. Obviously there's my F3 commentator here this evening in this tier, which is obviously ESW Ivor Bryn Mark. So he'll be interesting. Which obviously we've got, as you mentioned, Graham. He's out on the lap at the moment in the Aston Martin. He's coming through Corpse Corner, I believe. Yeah, he is. So he's going to negotiate that very successfully, and he's going to now come into Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, takes a little bit of the sausage curb in the entry to Maggots and Beckett's, but he negotiates the exit very well. Takes a lot of the grass, so I don't know if he's got a little bit of damage, but he takes a little bit of the grass. He's going to use that DRS and the ERS as max possible, as he's now going to come through, I believe it's Club Corner. I'm not, even though I'm from England, the track names are so thing to remember. As he's now going to come through Val. Where's he going to finish? And he goes P6, so that's P6 and P8 for the Aston Martins.
Yeah, so far with his provisional times, it's not bad to be in the top 10 with two cars. So yeah, still a lot of improvement possible for Graham, and not the fastest of the bunch in qualifying, but he always delivers in the race. So top 10 for Graham would be great.
Yeah, so with, obviously, as we know, both of us being league racers as well, setting banker laps around Silverstone, would you do that on the medium compound, or would you do that on the soft compound for your banker lap?
Yeah, it depends on the confidence. I'm pretty confident around England, around Silverstone, so I would do my banker lap on the mediums, and then just try to go as fast as I can on the softs, the two remainder of the laps, and save up a soft tire for any late safety car.
I think Silverstone is a very interesting track, because obviously all the corners that it can catch a few people out. Obviously we know the track limits are quite heavy on it. I'm just on board with one of the Williams drivers. He's currently in P11, So that's Invictus. He's on a 128.4. Sector 1 yellow flags. I don't know if you're getting the same, or it just might be my leaderboard a bit delayed. As we're right on board with the Williams driver, as he's now going to come through what will be into Cops Corner should I say, very soon, where we saw obviously the Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton incident. Hopefully we don't have any of that tonight and all the drivers are respectful on the track, but with 19 on the track, well, not on the track at the moment, but 19 for the race, it can cause a few incidents, as Jane goes in pole position with a 127.8. It's getting close to that 126 as you mentioned before. I'm just going to keep on board with Invictus. He's in the Williams.
Yes.
Obviously in real life Williams have done fantastic with George Russell. He's been pulling that car through lots of challenges, but Invictus is in the pits. I'm going to ride on board with one of the Red Bulls, which is ESW I can't get my words out now. ESW Ivor Bryn Mark. He said to me last night, don't put it too much the spotlight on me. He might have a spin, but we are going to ride on board with the Red Bull driver as he goes through Corpse Corner. I think he's feeling confident for this one, as he mentioned yesterday. Obviously he'll be looking for them points for the Red Bull team as he negotiates Maggots and Beckett's very successfully, as he has that ERS and DRS activated to the limit in the Red Bull. Will he go to the pits? He might not, because he hasn't set a lap yet. So as he's going to come, I believe this is Club Corner into Val. And Sector 1 and Sector 2 yellow flags, that is right up in front of him as well. Where's he going to go? He goes P9. Obviously that is his bank lap, I reckon, for him. So I think he can find a little bit of more extra time. Anyone that you're on board with?
No, yeah, I was on board with Ivor Bryn Mike as well, just like you. But let's see, we have Kiki on a hot lap here. Kiki really unfortunate the past couple of rounds here, with some spins in the race and some early retirement. So, but he isn't on the hot lap anymore. I think he aborted.
Yeah, obviously, while we are on the mention of the Mercedes driver, last night in F3 we did see a bit of a confusion with the Mercedes drivers. They didn't really have team orders in
26.
So the first one in the 126s, which you expected anyway. The only driver in the 1 minute 26s, maybe someone further down the grid, maybe pushing to try and get up there. There is a few to sell a lap yet. Obviously we've got, as you mentioned, one of the TTGA drivers. Obviously we've got Maximus to set a lap. I think Invictus may go a little bit quicker. Obviously he did box for his lap. Everybody is on the soft compound tyre. Obviously the two medium compound tyre drivers are out of qualifying, so one has set a lap and one hasn't. So yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting 5 minutes left, as the drivers have now set their bank laps. Well, 15 of them, as they are now going to get ready for them final runs.
Yeah, they are, and I believe IMD is on a hot lap here in the Red Bull, going through Maggots and Beckett's here. Nice in advance of taking a lot of curbs, taking everything on the exit there. He's a 5/10 improvement so far, so he's looking to go into 126s as well, and possibly taking some extra time of it. Going too wide and invalidates his lap, unfortunately, and that's what I told earlier. Really easy to invalidate there if you go a little bit too wide.
Yeah, obviously, as we know, track limits are a driver's worst nightmare for the Silverstone track that we have come to know and love, or sometimes maybe hate. I think Silverstone is a bit of a Marmite track. Some people love it, some people hate it. Obviously, I don't know for yourself if you do like it or you hate it. For me, I'm more of a hate it if I do get the track limit warning or the penalties.
Yeah, I really love this track, as Corba just came in with a 127.3. Now, I really love this track because it's so high speed. Some drivers might say it's a boring track.
Yeah.
But I really love it because you have to be on edge on a couple of corners, and if you're just a little bit too late with your turning in point, it ruins your lap or gets you a penalty.
Yeah, I'm just going to ride on board with one of the Aston Martins, which is TTG Corby. He's currently in P4. I think he's come out while nobody's really on the track at the moment. He's currently on a 127.3. I don't know if he's up at the moment. Oh, as he goes mega wide out of Cop's corner into Magnus. He doesn't invalidate, but he is low on the fuel, so I think he will be back into the pits for that final run. It's very hard at the moment to obviously see if anyone is going to improve.
Yes, I thought Scuba Steve, but he's on an in-lap as well, I think, 2 seconds up on his time. Scuba Steve, the one who had a great battle last week with Storm, formerly TTG Storm.
Yeah.
Going side by side for almost a lap there, so great driving from these guys.
Yeah, I'm just going to see what OFR Maximus is doing, because he's in the other Haas. He's just come through Cop's corner into Maggots and Beckett's. So he is on a competitive flying lap. He's got nobody around him at the moment. He's going to activate that DRS, and he's got quite a bit of ERS as well, so this could be a nice tidy lap for him. He's currently in P17, one of the only 2 drivers out still on the track that hasn't set a lap, as Scuba Steve has retired. But we will keep on board with Maximus at the moment, as he's going to come through Val, take as much of that exit curb as he can, and he goes into P16, so not a great lap there from the Haas, but it is going to put him into P16, apologies. Sector 1 and Sector 3, oh no, it's now Sector 3 is showing yellow flags. I don't know if that's a glitch or not.
Yeah, I think it's somebody retiring in the pits, but I'm not sure about that.
Oh, okay. TTG Key is he's out on his out lap, so we won't go on board with him at the moment. We'll go back on board with Armady, because as you said, he is one of the faster people in this tier, so it'll be definitely interesting to see where he can put that AlphaTauri. Obviously his teammate is, I believe, in P11, which is obviously Scuba Steve, who has retired now, so it is going to be all on Imad to get up that grid as far as possible. He is currently P7, he's in the 127.4, but he might feel he can go a bit quicker. He is on a flying lap at the moment. Obviously I can't see what time is left because I've got Sector 2 yellow flag up. Oh, there's a little bit of traffic for Imad, as TTGA Key won't set a lap as he's invalidated, as Imad gets the slipstream off the Alfa Romeo, as he's now going to come out of the DRS zone. Is he going to invalidate? No, he doesn't, so this will count as a valid lap as he now comes through into Club Corner and into Val. He wants to take as much of that exit curb as possible, as he's now going to come through Val into the start finish line. Oh, what's happened? He just slowed down. I think he didn't want to go faster. I don't know what he was doing there.
I'm not sure what happened there with him, but
well,
yeah,
he's got low fuel. He's low. His fuel light is showing. So, oh, that's a Ferrari round. That must be NSRA meter. Yeah, it is. So he has had a spin in Cop's corner. Yeah, I think what Imad is trying to do is get P11, as we know what P11 gives that OP strategy, and he may get that wish because he's dropped down to P10. We'll ride on board with OWR Atlantis and see where he will finish, because we'll see then if Imad will get that P11, as he is currently in P10, and obviously ORW is in P12. Oh no, Imad has now been dropped, so he could be even dropped even further if Atlantis gets a faster lap than him, and he goes into P7. So
a nice lap from him, and Age coming in as well with a 126.6 here.
Yeah, I'm just going to ride on board with one of the Alfa Romeo drivers, which is obviously the other Storm, not me. which is Storm72 UK, obviously as you mentioned, a former TTG driver. He's come out of Maggots and Beckett's. He hasn't got much ERS, he's got about half of it left, as he's now going to have to be careful of the track limits, as Jeffrey is now out of qualifying. He has retired, so can Storm get the pole position? Oh no, he invalidates, he takes too much of that curb and he slows down. Ivory Bryn Mark won't get it, as he has invalidated as well. So that seems to be qualifying over, as AJ takes the pole position for TTML F4 for season 5 in round 5. Any thing you want to say of who you thought may have been up there but isn't?
No, yeah, maybe. I'm a D who just aborted his hot lap.
Yeah, so there is the qualification for the qualifying in TTML F4. AJ takes the pole position with FRL Charlie in P2. Then we've got Jane in P3. Then TTG Kermit in 4th. Then we've got Storm in 5th. Ivor Bryn Mike in P6. Graham in P7. OWR Atlantis in P8. TTG Corby in P9. Rounding off the top 10 is the birthday boy TRT Bunty. Then in 11th we've got Ray Meader. In 12th we've got Armady. P13 is Scuba Steve. P14 is Invictus. Then in 15th Secret Dundee. Then in 16th we've got Maximus. P17 is Jeffrey Henny. And then in P18 we've got TTGA Kiki, and I didn't quite catch the last driver. It's the one name I can't pronounce. Yeah, Ivor Bryn Mark did warn me about that one. So heading into the race, we'll now wait for the drivers to select their strategy and their tyre compound. Oh, it is quite overcast, so rain expected within the first 10 laps, do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. It's really overcast. It isn't drizzling now, but it looks like it's gonna be raining really quickly. So yeah, really just want to know what the guys out of the top 10 are gonna go for strategy-wise, because are you gonna go for the mediums or are you gonna go for the softs, depending on the rain?
Yeah, it is an interesting one. I think this is what the league racing is really great for, because when you've got a situation like this, it's like, well, for us, it's what tyres do they go on because of the rain coming? Do you go for the mediums, or, you know, do you go bold and do you go for the soft tyres? In this situation, would you opt more for the medium compound tyre, or would you be bold and go for that soft tyre?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure, because I'm not sure when the rain hits, and I think these guys aren't as well, because outside the top 10 we got a split decision on tyres. We've got I'm a D, Maximus, Jeffrey, Kiki and Tanturi going for the mediums, and Ray Meader, Scuba Steve, Invictus and Secret Dundee going for the soft. So yeah, not sure what to make of it. I think I would go for the safe one and go on the medium tyres.
Very interesting that you'd go for the mediums. Obviously, I think I would go for the same. So, just while the drivers are doing their formation lap, I'm going to come to you for your race winner. And who do you think will take P2 and P3?
Ooh, this is going to be a tough one. We've got a couple of contenders. I think Graham, as he's the championship leader and always does good in the race, I'm going to put him on the podium. Bunty, because he's the birthday boy, and Adrian.
So a very different mixture there. I think for me, I would go with TTG Kermit to win the race, because he is currently P4. He has, I think, got that pace. Maybe we might see. Well, I think I'm going to have to go for my F3 commentator, which is Ivor Bryn Mark, and then I am going to go with the birthday boy as well and put him in that P3 spot. So as the drivers are now coming through Club Corner into Val, we are going to be getting very close to the race start, where we have lights out for the TTML F4 for season 5 for round 5 in the British Grand Prix at Silverstone, as the drivers are now going to come into their grid slots, and we'll be getting underway very shortly as the Aston Martin is now in that prime pole position grid slot as the drivers are now in the grid slots. I'm just going to try and get a great angle for the lights as now the drivers are in their grid slots as we now wait for the 5 red lights to come on, as they now go on 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights, and it's lights out and away we go in TTML F4 for round 5 as the drivers are now going to go through turn 1 and turn 2. It looks to be all clean so far. Is there any action at the back at the moment?
On the back there's a lot of action with a lot of overtakes. Graham going past Storm. Charlie didn't have the best of starts. Atlas Coco falling back a bit. Invictus got overtaken by Scuba Steve. So a lot is going on here on the first couple of corners so far.
Yeah, as my leaderboard is a little bit all over the place at the moment, as I'm pretty sure yours are. I see Ivor Bryn Mark did go down a position, so he's obviously going to want to get that position redone over on Storm. But look at the moves that Graham has already made. He's up to P5 already, as there seems to be a battle at the back of the grid, which is Invictus and Scuba Steve.
Yeah, it is, and Ray Meter getting overtaken as well by Invictus. So these 3 guys go almost side by side through Maggots and Baggage, which is really, really hard to do. But they get out of it unscathed, and Invictus taking a position over. And I think Secret Dundee had any problem because he's falling back. Not sure if he has any damage on his front wing, but he's the last runner now.
Yeah, as he spun. I think he's got a bit of an internet connection issue, but he has spun completely. I think he got put off by the Red Bull driver. As there's a Mercedes in the wall, which is TTG Kiki. And he's got no wing, so that is going to be a painful lap round Silverstone to forget, I think. But yeah, action all on the track in the first 2 laps. Yeah, I think Secret Dundee is having some major lag issues, so we will try and not keep on board with him too long. Sector 1 yellow flags, obviously that is for the Mercedes and the McLaren driver. So we will go back up to the front. Look at Imadi as well. He's up to P8 from P12 as well. He's in a battle. Well, there seems to be a mega train, I believe, behind. Let me try and find that front of that train.
Yummer.
Yeah, it is. So this could be quite interesting because DRS will be activated, should I say, the next lap. So I think it's going to get very spicy.
I think it is, and I really hope my spicy timing table sorts itself out as well, because I've got Imadi on 1.5 minutes behind Ivor Brian Mike, but he's actually really close behind him. And the first one to pick up a penalty here is Olafar Maximus.
All Sector 2 yellow flags. I believe that is a fight between the McLaren driver and the... as there is a yellow flag in Sector 2, Sector 3. Is that going to cause any form of a safety car or a BSC? That hasn't at the moment, but that is a Sector 3 yellow flag, and I think that is on track.
Yeah, it is Secret Dundee. I'm not sure if he crashed or if he just ended this race there himself, as Kiki gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane and is going to replace his front wing guy. But that's our the first rivalry news today, Secret Dundee.
Yeah, unfortunately for the McLaren driver, as his teammate is in P2 at the moment, and obviously now the leaderboard has fixed itself, so we have got the correct intervals on the timing on the leaderboard. So who do you think is going to make that move first?
Yeah, I'm just looking at Imadi, who's really flying on those medium tires, and he's, everyone behind him is just going with him. But I think Imadi, and here he goes, around the outside of Ivor Brian Mike, making the overtake done before the corner. So great overtake from him, relatively easy, and yeah, he's really fighting forward at the moment.
Yeah, he may be doing that, near to last to first challenge. He is on the medium compound tyre, so he can go that little bit extra on the time. On the tyre, I should say, as he sets the fastest lap with a 1:29.8 on the medium compound tyre. Obviously, the C2, the C3 and the C4 tyre is available to the drivers this evening, which is the dry tyres of the soft, the medium and the hard compound tyre. I don't think we'll see the hard compound tyre this evening unless there is a safety car come halfway through the race. But if there was a safety car, would you go for the hard compound tyre, or would you stick to using just the medium and the soft tyre?
No, I would, as we saw Invictus.
I have to interrupt you there. I've just seen the first part of the rain come down on my screen. So rain is now coming onto the track.
Yeah, it is. So this is going to spice things up. Is it going to be just raining harder, and all these guys have to pit, or can they stay out on these tires? Because if it's going to stay like this, you can keep the tire underneath your car and you will lose some grip, but not that much. But if it's going to rain harder, you definitely need to go into the intermediates.
Yeah, as I'm just sticking on board with Armour D, he has really got that pace this evening. He is literally using the slipstream of the cars in front of him on the medium compound tyre. He is right on the back of the Alfa Romeo of Storm72_UK. I think the soft compound tyres are now going to be not the tyre to be on. The mediums may now come into a better operation window for them, as he's just being pulled by that Alfa Romeo car. He is probably in the best place possible at the moment out of all the medium compound tyre runners.
Yeah, you can see, I was just on board with Storm, where you can see grip is getting less and less out on track because they're sliding a little bit around the corner there. But I must say, Janne, who was a little bit behind Aju, is back into his DRS now, but Graham is losing some time for Charlie, so maybe Graham is going to be under pressure to turn it in a minute.
Yeah, obviously the top 6 are on the soft compound tyre, as the rain is now hitting quite heavy on the track, so DRS being disabled quite soon. Do you reckon that'll be the point where the drivers go, right, we need the intermediate tyres?
Yeah, I think it is, and maybe guys further back can take a little risk and go in now, but I expect the runners in front of us. We have a yellow flag, and
that is Kiki,
I believe. But I expect these guys maybe to stay out now, but I must say, rain is hitting pretty hard now, so they can come in any minute now, as we see Janne and Charlie going in. So also here, mixed strategy of guys putting them up there.
Yeah, as the drivers are pitting, they are going for the intermediate tyres. There is a sector 1 yellow flag. That is a Mercedes of Kiki, I believe. That isn't his teammate, which is AJ, as Kiki gets a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That is not going to be a warning or a penalty that he wanted this evening, and it is going from bad to worse for the Mercedes driver, who is currently, it's telling me, 1 minute and 38 seconds behind everybody else. It looks to be everybody from P8 to P17 is on the intermediate tyres. The top 6 are on the soft compound tyre, and then we have in P7 is the medium runner. Sector 2 yellow flags. Anything there? I believe that is Invictus.
It's a Red Bull, isn't it?
No, that might be... No, that's not Invictus. That's... Yeah, it's... Oh, I've just seen a Mercedes be going backwards on the track. Virtual safety car has been deployed, so the drivers have to watch that delta, as we both know that it can kill a race with a drive-through.
Yeah, it can, and I think this is some good news for the guys who stayed out, because it definitely is intermediate conditions now, looking at these guys struggling on the slicks, and as Jeffrey Henney gets a drive-through penalty, just as we talked about it. I think all these guys will go in now.
Yeah, as AJ gets a 3-second time penalty, as the top 4 potentially, the top 4 are now in the pits, as Scuba Steve gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That pit lane is so difficult to judge, where I think Sector 2 yellow flags, I think Kiki is having a British GP nightmare. I think he may having flashbacks of a race to forget, I think. As just reading in the chats, Rel Funky Chicken says good evening to both of us. Obviously, good evening from the comms box. We're all nice in here, nice and warm, while the drivers are racing in the wets. Well, on the intermediate tyres at the moment, as Kiki gets 3 and then a 5-second penalty. It is literally, I think, the worst race for him he may possibly have this season. Obviously, he's got to go the rest of the season yet. And Sector 2 and Sector 3 yellow flags. Is he stopped on track? No, he is still going. He's on the soft compound tyre. The only driver on a dry compound tyre, as everybody is now on the intermediates, and FRL Charlie leads the race. Oh, a little bit of understeer as he goes now into Cop's corner.
Yeah, and you can see the guys pitting earlier than the top 6. Just made an undercut on the rest, so smart decision from them for going in, and Kiki gets another 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, so he has to watch out that he doesn't get invalidated, but he retires in the pit lane. And, yeah, I'm not a big fan of it, but in his case I can understand he's quitting the race today.
Yeah. So the Alpine driver of FRL Charlie is now the race leader, as with Jane or Jan in P2. Graham has got himself up to P3, and Imadi's moved himself up to P4, as I think I've given the commentator's curse to Charlie tonight, as he gets a 3-second tyre penalty for multiple warnings, but it is expected with the now wet conditions, and it is pouring down in the British Grand Prix now.
Yeah, it is, and I saw Graham really struggling out of the final corner and losing some time on Yana. And Imadi is really looking for an overtake here, I think. Closing in on Graham, and you can see he's just so much more comfortable in the rain than Graham, with on traction on the exit of the corner, also on the late braking he does. Doesn't have enough speed now and is too far away to go for the overtake now, but I think it's going to happen in a lap or two.
Yeah, obviously with the rain, if it does get a lot more harder, do you see maybe a driver making that bold strategy and going for a wet compound tyre, as Graham gets a little bit of understeer, as they are now going to head into Cop's corner, obviously where we saw the incident in the sprint race between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton. We may see it in the wet. Now, obviously, Sector 2 yellow flags, that is a Haas, and that is Maximus. He's out of spin, I think. As I'm on board with Imadi, oh, a little bit of wheel banging as they touch, as Imadi goes into the back of that diffuser. As Imadi is now going to go for the move. Look at the slipstream he's got, and he's going to go for the move, and that is up to P3 for Imadi.
Yeah, great overtake from Imadi, and look at our birthday boy up into 5th position already. So yeah, if Graham can stay with Imadi, he's safe, but he's gonna get pressured from behind, I think, because Bunty's already looking left and right and waiting for that mistake. That's happening here again on the exit of the corner. So he's taking the inside, now Bunty going side by side to the corner. Ooh, I've got a horrible camera angle, still side by side. Taking the inside here, but that means he's got the outside on the second corner here. Couldn't make the overtake last, but yeah, he's definitely looking to fall through him. Yeah, as now TRT Bunty is going to get that slipstream. As he going to go for the move, and as he goes down the left side of the Aston Martin. Oh, I think they've touched a little bit of wheel banging, but he gets the move done up into P4. Yeah, and that's move done, and let's see if he has the pace now to drive away from Graham, because it's okay to overtake, but you need the raw speed to drive away as well. But here, Storm just got overtaken by Atlas Coppo in great fashion, I must say. Really clean overtake there, no wheel banging or anything, but Storm is looking to maybe return the favor here. He isn't falling back, so next opportunity, when it comes, he's awake and he's going to try it.
Yeah, while that battle is happening, we've got a bit of a battle here at the back. I believe it is for P10, as AJ gets himself up to P12, and Scuba Steve is his next person in front of him. But it looks like we've got a bit of a battle here for P7, where OWR Atlantis is, as Storm and TTG Corby is right on the back of this train. So it would be a DRS train, but there is no DRS now, I believe, active. So as Maximus gets a 3-second time penalty, lap 10 now of 26. So 16 laps of the race to go. Obviously, would you see possibly another pit stop for another set of intermediates?
Yeah, I believe these guys, as Jeffrey Henry gets a 3-second time penalty, I believe these guys can make it to the end if you can spare your tires a bit, because it would save you some time, because the pit speed limiter is at 60 kilometers per hour. I don't know how much it is in miles per hour, but it's a slow pit entry there, so I think they can stay out here.
Yeah, I think it is obviously a tricky pit lane. Obviously, I think it is one of the slowest pit lanes as well. I think it might be around about the 25 to 28 second mark for a pit stop. So with this close grid, it may be that they might not want to risk it, as there is quite a few trains, obviously no DRS available, so it's just going to be down to raw pace and the use of ERS, as there seems to be a battle here for P7, as Atlantis is now getting on the back of TTG Kermit.
Ageless and Scooter Steve going side to side. Age couldn't make it stick, but he can still go for the undercut here, going for the inside, but he doesn't risk it and stays behind Scooter Steve for now.
Yeah, as somebody in the chat has asked, is TTG Maze now Kermit? I believe that is. Obviously, yeah, there you go. There is your answer for that. So, obviously, TRT Bunty has got a penalty. Our birthday boy receiving that track limits warning and a penalty. So, it is an interesting one. Obviously, quite a few drivers at the back of the grid have got the track limit penalties now. So, it's now just going to have to be a push for the last remaining 15 laps.
Yeah, it does, and I must say, IMD picking up the pace now. He's within, there's no DRS, but he's within half a second now from Janne. Has a almost 3-second gap behind him, so no pressure at all from behind. We have a yellow flag. Is that Ray Meter?
I believe it is.
Ray Meter losing it out on track, and I believe he doesn't have any damage, so he can continue without pitting, but losing a lot of positions at time.
Yeah, as I'm now on board with IMD, he is rapidly getting up to the back of that diffuser of the McLaren driver, which is Jan for P2. He probably wasn't even looking at a podium this evening when he qualified earlier this evening, but it is on the cards now, as he is getting rather close to that McLaren. But it is still IMD in P3, sector 3 yellow flags. That is a Haas, which is, I believe, Bunty. Bunty has gone for a spin and he's dropping positions quite rapidly as he comes back on track, should I say. A little bit unsafe. Luckily, he was ghosted, so there was no damage or incidents caused there, but he is down all the way to P12 from P4.
Yeah, so not the luck he would have wanted on his birthday, but yeah, he can still fight on because he doesn't have any damage, so who knows, maybe he can fight back. And RMD is still looking at getting a horrible exit out of the corner there, a little bit of a wobble in the car as my voice going. I'm really sorry about that, but yeah, RMD really putting the pressure on Janne and just waiting for a mistake, I think.
Yeah. As you were obviously mentioning, I was on board with Storm 72. He is closing that gap up to OWR Atlantis, so we may have a front track battle, and we might have a midfield battle between obviously the McLaren and the AlphaTauri, and obviously the Alpine and the Alfa Romeo. So it's going to be interesting, as that rain is not letting up in the British Grand Prix for this evening. It is going to potentially maybe nearly full wets, but I think the drivers are at that skill level where they can keep on the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, I think they're waiting on someone to go in first and setting a faster lap than these guys, and if that doesn't happen, I think they will all stay out here. But yeah, as you said, behind Kermit there's a really long train, starting with Kermit and ending with TRC Bunty. And Scuba Steve, well, closest one to Corboy within 3/10 of a second here, and I'm really getting horrible camera angles on the side pod, so I'm gonna switch it here. But yeah, all these guys just waiting for a mistake, and here it goes. Corboy made the little mistake, but Scuba Steve almost into the back of him, so he had to let up, and opportunity gone for an overtake.
Yeah, I will ride on board with the Aston Martin driver of TTG Corby. He's got a little bit of a train behind him, as I think AJ had a cheeky look at Scuba Steve, as Scuba Steve gets a 3-second time penalty. Sector 2 yellow flags. Who is that? That's a Haas, as I believe AJ went for a move as they entered into Cop's corner, but he's going to have a look through Magnus and Beckett's, but that gets the door closed on him, as he is really putting the pressure on that AlphaTauri for P10. Obviously it will get him points, so he is going to battle it, as he is right on the back of that car of the AlphaTauri. Is he going to go for it? He goes down the right side of the AlphaTauri, but he doesn't get the move done. He gets the door closed on him, as there's a sector 3 yellow flags.
Yeah, and I believe that is Maximus round again, so just like Kiki earlier, Maximus isn't having the best of times here today. He's just struggling here.
Yeah, as I believe AJ is getting really impatient, as he's taking a lot of the track, as he goes down the inside of the AlphaTauri. Oh, that's very close. He's trying to be very precise as the wet conditions. He's going to get side by side as they now go through turn 3 and 4, I believe, where the DRS zone is. They would get DRS, but he's not got it now as the wet conditions. They are going to go side by side. Is he going to get the move done? He gets the move done, and that's AJ up to P10.
Yeah, great overtaking from him. As you said, he was looking a bit impatient, but Scuba Steve giving the space to AJ. Not too much, but just enough. But the thing is, it cost AJ a little bit of time battling with Scuba Steve, and Corbo got away a little bit. But as it looks for now, AJ is trying to close the gap relatively quickly on Corbo now.
Yeah, as we were watching that battle, it looks to be that Imadi has got past Jan for P2, and Imadi is really going to put that pressure on FRL Charlie for the race lead. This could go now down to the last round about 8 laps, I believe, if my maths are correct, if I can't count. No, it will be the last 11 laps, as we're on lap 15 of 26.
It is going to be the last 11 laps, and Imadi really looking fast here. He doesn't particularly need to overtake Charlie, as Charlie has a penalty. So if Imadi can stay in this position and keep it penalty free, he won't be the winner on track, but on penalties he will. But yeah, you as well, you and me will both race if you always want to win a battle on track.
Of course, you know, I think it's League Racers' instinct. You know, you want that bragging rights. I won that race on the track. I didn't need the driver in front to have a penalty, as they are now going to come through into what will be Cop's corner. I believe Imadi is just going to back off this because of the wet conditions. I think if it was dry, he would have gone for it, as they now come through Cop's corner. A nice exit for both of them, as Jan is just in the distance, as they now negotiate Maggots and Backets very successfully. And I believe this will be the chance where we see the race lead be in a change, as Imadi is now going to use that ERS. He's going to go for it, I think, as he uses that slipstream and the ERS. He's right behind that car as this might put the halt on that, as there's a sector 3 yellow flags that isn't where they are, but Imadi went for the move, but the door got closed on him.
Yeah, so Imadi gonna have to wait, well, maybe a lap, maybe two, we don't know, but these guys are setting up for a great battle, and I think they can keep this up all race. It was great defending from Charlie there, just closing the door right on time, and Imadi not taking too many risks, because a P2 here on track would be enough for the win.
Yeah, as there's a sector 1 yellow flag, I believe that is the Haas in the pits. So as now Imadi is right on the back, as Maximus has left the session. I believe that is a lag issue.
Age gonna try down the inside of Scuba Steve here again. These two are fighting out some, sorry, it was Coreboy. These two fighting out a really good battle, and Coreboy a little snap oversteer there on the exit of the corner, so Age diving it down the inside, no, not diving, but going to the inside. But can Coreboy hang it around the outside? He can for now and keep the position. So great defending from Coreboy there.
Yeah, as I think AJ got a little bit of understeer, as I think Scuba Steve is just going to sit back for a little bit and just think, oh, going to lick his lips and think, I'm going to let these two battle here because I could get 2 free positions. As they are now going to go through Cop's corner, as AJ is going to try it, I think, no, he's not, he's going to get the door closed on him through Magnus and Beckett's. That was a very wise decision, I think, as AJ is really getting impatient again. As look at that rain, it is getting quite relentless on the track, on the rain. I think we may be in for a few laps on the wet compound tyre.
Yeah, I think you can be right there, because it's really pouring down now, so I think we're just a couple of laps away from the blue compound tyre, the full wets. But I must say, AJ, if he times his move right, because he looks to have so much more overspeeds through Nuggets and Buckets compared to Coreboy. If he can time that right and doesn't have to go off throttle there, you can easily overtake Coreboy after the Nuggets and Buckets section.
Yeah, as we go back to the main battle that everyone is talking about at the moment, which is the Imadi versus FRL Charlie, the AlphaTauri versus the Alpine. They are now going to come through into Cop's corner. It is roughly around about 3 tenths between the two of them, as Imadi is right on the back of that Alpine. He's not going to get it done in Cop's corner, but he is going to get rather close as they head into Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, so Imadi suffering a little bit of dirty area, but can stay right behind FL Charlie. And same goes for Imadi. If he can time this right and just focus on the exit of the corner, he might be in a position to overtake Charlie. But Charlie getting everything out of the exit of the corner and just has enough time again on Imadi to stay in front of him.
Yeah, as they are now going to enter into Club corner and then into the Vale chicane. Obviously, as we both know, one of the straights I believe here now is now named the Hamilton Straight, after the 7-time Formula 1 drivers champion, which is obviously Lewis Hamilton, who is in that championship battle with Max Verstappen this season. But our battle for this race is Imadi versus Charlie, but just creeping up behind them just under a second is Jan in P3, so we could have potentially a 3-way fight for the race lead.
Yeah, we definitely can. Jan are trying to close in on these guys, because Imadi is now really close, within a 10. He's looking on the inside, but isn't close enough, so has to stay behind FRL Charlie. And I was just on board with Imadi behind Charlie, and I must say, there's getting a lot of spray of these cars in there, so yeah, I think full wet tires are going to be out, well, within a couple of laps now, for sure.
Yeah, as there's a Haas that has spun, I believe that might have been TRT Bunty. Not a great birthday for him, as the two at the top of the race lead and in P2 are now going through Magnus and Beckett's. Look at the slipstream that Imadi has, as they are now out of Magnus and Beckett's. They are now going to get that slipstream. Is Imadi going to go for it? He's having a look, but the door gets closed on him again. I think Jan is doing the best possible thing at the moment, as he would end up on P2 if it stayed the way it is, as Charlie has that 3-second time on it as they go through club corner into the Vale chicane for what will be lap 19, I believe, of 26. Yep, that's lap 19 of 26.
It is, and in the meantime, Aju passed Scoreboy and is right on the back of Storm 72 now. Guy sharing the name that you understand.
Yeah.
And really looking for the overtake here as well. I must say, Aju looks a little bit impatient and wants to make as much positions as he wants, but look at this rain here on board with him. It's terrible conditions to race now.
Yeah, as you were talking about that, as Storm goes round the outside of the Mercedes, is he going to get it done? Is he? No, he's really pushing, and he gets the door closed on him. Is he going to go back for it? As I was about to say, Charlie picked up another track limits warning and penalty, so he's now on 6 seconds. That would drop him, let me just check, that would drop him roughly, as there is a spinner, which is Atlantis, and he has spun as they go into Copse Corner.
Yeah, they were. So Atlas Coco, another one struggling in this these conditions. As Jeffrey Henny picks up another penalty as well. I think we have multiple penalties now. So driving around at the back here on fresh tires, hoping to make something out of this race for him.
Yeah, as the drivers are now going to enter lap 20 for 6 laps to race as much as they can. I don't think we will now see the wets unless somebody is brave. It is, I believe, now set in for the intermediate tyre. It is a tricky one because the drivers may not want to lose a track position. Obviously they will if they do pit now.
No, you definitely don't want to give up track position now, and I think even if it's going to be full wet conditions, it's better to stay out on intermediates, because you won't lose as much time as you would in a pit stop.
Yeah, as I'm on board with Ahmed at the moment, as we're going through what will now be into Copse Corner. He's pulled back a little bit. He's round about 5.5 tenths as they now go through Copse Corner. Obviously, he would get the race win because obviously Charlie has 6 seconds on track limits, unfortunately. But it is going to be a close one, I think, for the last 6 laps. It's almost like a sprint race that we have now between the top possibly 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, I think top 2. Jan is doing everything to stay with this guys, but isn't able to come close. But I just noticed that the amount of ERS IMD has saved up. So maybe he just fell back a little bit and starting to save up some ERS to make the overtake on track and just give it in all in one lap.
Yeah, as he is now going to use that ERS, as he has flicked that ERS on, so he's now going to really close up that gap, as it is now down to 4.3 seconds, 4 tenths should I say, as that now goes up to 5 tenths, but he is right on the back of that car. He's not going to let that Alpine, should I say, gain any time, as he has now got nearly 90% of the ERS. Look at the slipstream he's got and the pace he has in the wets.
Yeah, it's great pace, but both of these guys are showing some great pace in these conditions. And Jeffrey Henny DNF'd, I think.
Oh, there's a safety car
on track.
We have a safety car. This is going
bad
to
news for Charlie.
This is not good news, I think, for the top 3, as they may pit. If you was in this situation, would you risk a pit stop, or would you try and stay out? Obviously, we've got a few drivers a lap younger on the tyres, obviously by 1 lap on the intermediates. What would you do if you was at the front?
Yeah, I would just stay out. Don't risk it. Stay out. I mean, safety car probably out for 2 laps. After that, you only have 3 laps of racing left, so I would definitely stay out on these tires and just make the best of it.
As they are now going to come. I think Charlie has gone into the pits. Yeah, Charlie and Jan have opted for the pits, but Imadi is now going to take the race lead, and he is going to stay out.
Yeah, that's what I would do as well, but I think...
Imadi gets a drive-through for speeding under the safety car. Oh, this has gone... Oh, and Ivor Bryn Mark gets the same... Oh, this has not gone well for what would have been a fantastic race from Imadi. He has now got to serve that drive-through penalty, which won't be until after the safety car has come in.
Yeah, terrible news for Imadi and Ivan Bryant Mike. But the one who always just comes up in the race, Graham, in a great position now to take the win and extend this championship lead over these guys.
Yeah, so our net race leader is in fact now Graham, and look at that, Mike is in P3 as well. How can it be so painful that the game can give you a drive-through penalty?
Yeah, it's devastating. I mean, drive-through penalty, everybody is going to be bunched up here. And after the safety car restart, is the moment you have to serve it. So yeah, they're just going to be dropping way back, and they'll finish in last position there.
Yeah, unfortunately, not a night to remember for the Welsh driver of Ivor Bryn Mark, doing so well. He would have got himself on the podium possibly, but that may now go to TTG Kermit. As he has no penalties, but yeah, I think that safety car may have been Imadi and Ivor Bryn Mark's worst nightmare.
Yeah, it is, and this brings guys like AJ Corbo, Scooter Steve, and maybe Janne, who pitted for the wet tires, back into play here. So yeah, Janne, again, as he's penalty free, just like Corboy and Kermit, back into podium position.
Yeah, so obviously I think Kermit will now be pushing for that race win, as we've actually, due to the new update on F1 2021, we have the green Aston Martin safety car. So it's not the red one, it is the green Aston Martin car with the AlphaTauri of Imadi is your current race leader, but he has got a drive through. Then we've got Graham in the Aston Martin in second, then we've got ESW Ivor Bryn Mike in P3 in the Red Bull. Then we've got TTG Kermit in P4 in the Williams. Then we've got AJ in P5. Then we've got TTG Corby in 6th. Then we've got Scuba in 7th in the Alpha Tauri. Then we've got Charlie, who did a fantastic length on the intermediate tyres under some immense pressure from Imadi in P8. Then we've got Jan in P9. Then we've got Invictus in the other Williams, I believe, in 10th, rounding off the top 10 there. Then we've got Storm 72 in 11th. Then we've got OWR Atlantis in P12 after his spin. Then we've got the birthday boy, which is TRT Bunsey in P13 after his spin. Then we've got NSR Ray Meader in P14. Then the ridiculous name that I cannot pronounce, I'm not even going to try and pronounce, in P15, and rounding off the current drivers on the track in the Red Bull. Then your DNFs for today are Jeffrey Henney in 16th, then we've got OFR Maximus in 17th, then we've got TTGA Kiki in 18th, then in 19th we've got Secret Dundee.
Yeah, and that's everyone participating today, but I must agree with you. I've been struggling on Tunturi Farina, I think it is. His name,
yeah.
So I'm just gonna call him Tunturi.
Yeah.
Tunturi.
Or you could just call him Tanturi. There you go. That might be something that I think we might have to ask him how he pronounces it. So then, or have him in a party and just quickly ask him, how do you pronounce it? I do wonder how people do come up with these PSN names. But lap 23 of 26, that safety car is not in this lap. I think we're going to have 2 laps of racing, which is going to be a sprint race, some might say, for the race win in the British Grand Prix, as we are now on lap 24 of 26.
We are, and Tenturi, the one we're waiting for now, so probably safety car. I think the safety car has to come in because you can't finish the race behind the safety car, but as soon as Tenturi is back on the is bunched up with the rest of these guys, I think we're gonna see the message we're all waiting for. Safety car coming in this lap, and we can have a nice little sprint race on our hands there.
Yeah, so if you was Graham, would you go for the move on IMD knowing that he's got to drive through, or would you just defend from whatever is behind you?
Yeah, well, as I'm a D, and I believe Ivor, Brian, Mike both have a
yeah, they do.
Drive-through penalty. I would just stay behind I'm a D, and even if Ivor, Brian, Mike makes the overtake, I would just let it happen. Don't take any risks. As long as Kermit just stays behind him, he should be fine.
So we are going to go through Copse Corner, as the safety car will be in this lap, and we're going to have around about 2 laps of the race left in TTML F4 for round 5 in season 5. As we are now going to come through Maggers and Beckett's, the drivers are just warming up their tyres as we now wait for the safety car lights to go out. As they are now coming through Maggers and Beckett's, obviously they would be going a little bit faster if they weren't under the safety car, but they are now all coming through, and all the drivers are now bunched up as the safety car is now in this lap, and we're going to have 2 laps of the race left, as we will now get a restart from Ivor D, but he has got to drive through, and so has ESW Ivor Brain Mike, should I say? I'm going to get that name right by the end of the the race. He's going to message me probably after, as they are now bunched up in the pack by Ivor D. Let's just wait until he gets the grid going, and I will hand you over to TTGA. I'll get your name right in a minute. Conte for the safety car restart.
Yeah, and as the looks of it, Ivor D is going for it now. Graham a little bit asleep, but it doesn't matter because he has Ivor D has the service penalty here. As we are in the back, F1 Charlie and Jan both overtaking Scooter Steve on the full wet tires. So the full wet tires having much more grip, possibly than the intermediates at this stage. And Jan tried to go for a move there on Charlie, but stays behind and knows he has multiple penalties there. And we have a spinner. It's Storm.
Unfortunately, that is not me. That is Storm 72. I believe there was also Williams involved, as we have a battle here for P6, as there's a sector 1 yellow flag. That is a Red Bull, as TTG Corby is going to go round the outside of the Alpine driver, but he gets the door closed on him. But look at Jans, he's right on the back of this, as there's a sector 2 yellow flags. We will stick on board with this as they go through into Copse Corner. They're going to go side by side. Oh, a little bit of wheel banging from Jans. Is Jans going to do it? He goes round the outside through Copse Corner into Magnus and Beckett's, but look at Scuba Steve, he is right on the back of this, as well as Ivor Bryn Mike gets a 3-second time penalty as well. What a fantastic move there for Jans through Copse Corner.
Yeah, it was. You could see the extra grip the full wet tires are giving these guys, Charlie and Jan. And Charlie now already on the back of Kermit, who's trying to get past Ivor and Mike. But be patient, Kermit. Ivor and Mike probably is going to come in next lap, I believe. So he has to defend heavily from Charlie here. But in the meanwhile, we have Scooter Steve side by side with Corboy there. And does he make the overtake stick? He does. He's in front of him at the exit of the corner here. A nice overtake from Scooter Steve.
I've just realised we are on the last lap of the race, and neither of the 2 drive-through penalty drivers have made that drive-through, so they will either get, I think it's a 20-second penalty or a DSQ if they do not serve it, because the reason for this is because when they go into the pits they will officially cross the line. so I don't know what the game will do, as Kermit and Charlie are going to go side by side. This is also, Jan is going to get into the mix. Look at Jan, he's going to go down the inside but gets the door closed on him. I think Kermit is now feeling the pressure as Jan is going to go down the inside, as they now, a little bit of wheel bang as they go through into Cop's corner. This is going to be another move for Jan in the books, as he is now going to battle this into Cop's corner. He gets the move done before they go into Cop's corner, but is Kermit going to get the move back done as they go through into Max and Beckett's, but Kermit backs off as he knows the weather is not the best at the moment.
Yeah, and he's already on the 18 lap intermediates, and Janne on fresh new tires. But we have Ahmed here coming into the last sector. Not good with corner names, so I'm just gonna call it the final chicane of the of Silverstone here. Crossing the line, he will get a penalty or maybe disqualification. I don't know what the game is gonna do, but crossing the finish line here gets a 20-second time penalty, so he will fall back. So we've got Graham in P1 winning the race, Janne in P2, Corber P3, Kermit in P4, Charlie in P5, Aju in P6, Atlas Copa P7, Storm in P8, Ahmed in P9, Scuba Steve finishing off the top 10, and then the timing table disappeared, so you're gonna have to wait for the other drivers below the top 10.
Yeah, as Ahmed did finish in the top 10, but Ivor, Bryn, Mark did not finish in the top 10, as we finished the race there in a wet British Grand Prix for round 5 in season 5, as we will now wait for the drivers on the podium. So it is a double Aston Martin podium, as that is the British team in the podium this evening. It is an all British manufacturer top 3 on the constructors, with the Aston Martin and the McLaren team taking the top 3. That is an Aston Martin 1-3 and a McLaren in P2.
Yeah, and top 2 steps, or first and third step, Irish as well. So Irishman taking over England here.
Yeah, as Graham is your provisional race winner in TTML F4 for the British Grand Prix in round 5 for season 5. Then we've got Jan in P2, then we've got Corby in P3, then we've got Kermit in P4, then we've got Charlie in P5, AJ in P6, then we've got Atlas in P7, Storm 72 UK in 8th, then we've got Ahmed with that 20-second penalty in P9. Then rounding off the top 10 is Scuba Steve. Then we've got the birthday boy in P11, unfortunate for him today as he had a great start to the race, TRT Bunty. Then in P12 we've got Invictus, then the name that we cannot pronounce, which is Tun Churi in P13. Then we've got NSR Raymi in P14. Then we've got the other driver with the drive-through that he didn't serve, and he gets a 20-second penalty for that, which is ESW Ivor Bryn Mike in P15. Then the drivers that did not finish the race is in P16, Jeffrey Henney in P16. Then we've got OFR Maximus in P17. Then we've got TTGA Kiki in P18. Then finishing off the drivers that did not finish in P19 is Secret Dundee. So that is another race done in TTML for the F4 tier in the league. And any of the drivers that you think maybe have got your driver of the day?
Yeah, I must say, not the flashiest of drivers, but Graham leading the championship and just keeping it clean out on track gives him P1 in this race. So I think I'm gonna go for the boring choice, and I'm gonna pick Graham.
I'm going to go with the other Irishman. I'm going to go with TTG Corby. He started in P9, obviously not probably a place he would have wanted to be, but he got himself on the podium, and that is a double Aston Martin podium for the British team in TTML F4. Well, that is another race done in the TTML League, and another one in the history books. We will be back next week at Thursday at 8 PM BST or 9 PM CT time, which is Central European time. Until next time, when we go back league racing in TTML F4, it's good night from Storm and it's good night from TTG Conti.